Imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning. You check your phone, brush your teeth, open the fridge and stare into it like the answers to existence are hiding behind expired yogurt. Normal day. Then suddenly, every scientist on Earth holds a press conference. And they say, yeah, about humanity, small update. We're not from here. Pause. Not metaphorically. Not spiritually. Not in the we're all stardust way people post on Instagram after watching one documentary and drinking tea. Literally. Human beings are aliens. Cue collective panic. Some guy in Ohio immediately starts a podcast. A billionaire tries to trademark the word earthling. And somebody on YouTube uploads, top 10 signs your grandma is extraterrestrial. But here's the uncomfortable thing. What if this wouldn't actually be shocking? Because the deeper scientists dig into human history, the weirder we look. Seriously. Compared to most animals, humans are bizarre. We have giant brains that burn ridiculous amounts of energy. We can throw objects with sniper-level accuracy. We lost most of our body hair for some reason. Our babies are born helpless. And we somehow evolved anxiety strong enough to ruin a Tuesday afternoon over a text message that just says, K. Nature usually evolves creatures slowly, carefully. But humans? We showed up and immediately started doing things no other animal even attempted. Farming, math, taxes, especially taxes. And that's where the first strange clue appears. Because if humans evolved naturally on Earth, why do we often feel so poorly designed for it? Our backs fail constantly. Our teeth come in crooked. Sunburn exists. And our mental health can collapse because somebody didn't use enough emojis in a message. Meanwhile, squirrels are thriving. No therapy. No existential dread. Just vibes. And then there's this terrifying thought. What if humans don't feel at home on Earth? Because we aren't? Now before you throw your biology textbook out the window, relax. There's no proof humans arrived in a spaceship carrying laser guns and IKEA furniture. But there are strange theories. Some scientists have proposed a concept called panspermia, the idea that life itself may have traveled through space on asteroids or cosmic dust. Meaning life on Earth could technically have alien origins. Which means your ancestor might not be a monkey. It might be a rock. A space rock. Honestly, evolution just got significantly less glamorous. But here's where things get darker. Because if humanity did come from somewhere else, then what happened to the original place? And why did we leave? Picture Earth 200,000 years ago. No cities, no roads, no influencers filming day-in-my-life videos while holding overpriced coffee. Just wilderness. And into that wilderness walks a species that changes everything. Use. Now here's the weird part. Humans spread across Earth insanely fast. Like, suspiciously fast. Within a relatively tiny slice of history, humans adapted to deserts, frozen tundras, jungles, mountains, islands, basically every environment except LinkedIn comment sections. Most species need massive evolutionary timescales to adapt. Humans? We just arrived somewhere and said, terrible conditions. Anyway, let's build a civilization. That adaptability is either extremely impressive or deeply suspicious. Some researchers have even pointed out that humans behave less like a species perfectly synchronized with Earth, and more like an invasive species. Think about it. Wherever we go, ecosystems change dramatically. Animals disappear. Forests vanish. And somehow there's always one guy trying to build luxury apartments nearby. Humans consume resources endlessly. We reshape environments. We multiply aggressively. That's not how most balanced species operate. That's how colonizers operate. And suddenly the question changes. Maybe humanity didn't evolve with Earth. Maybe humanity arrived on Earth. Now obviously, mainstream science does not say humans are literal alien refugees from planet Dave 7. But ancient myths make things interesting. Civilizations all over the world told stories about sky beings descending from the heavens. The Sumerians, the Maya, ancient Egyptians, different cultures, same obsession. Visitors from above, teachers from the stars. Now, were these stories symbolic? Probably. Could ancient people simply have been explaining natural phenomena through mythology? Most likely. But still, humans have always had this strange feeling that something came before us. Something forgotten. And maybe that's why humans are obsessed with space. Think about it. We barely understand our own oceans. Yet we desperately want to leave Earth. We build rockets, telescopes, Mars mission. It's almost instinctive. Like salmon swimming upstream. Or raccoons opening trash cans with criminal intent. Maybe somewhere deep in human DNA, there's a memory, a homesickness, a faint whisper saying, this isn't where you started. And if that sounds unsettling, Wait until you hear what happened when scientists started looking at our genes. Because the human genome has a few surprises hiding inside it. In 2003, scientists completed one of the biggest projects in human history, the Human Genome Project. Basically, humanity decoded its own biological instruction manual. And honestly, the results were awkward. Because humans are genetically weird. For starters, humans share about 98 to 99% of our DNA with chimpanzees. Which sounds comforting until you remember chimps sometimes throw things at zoo visitors and scream for fun. That tiny percentage difference somehow produced skyscrapers, symphonies, nuclear weapons, and people arguing online about pineapple pizza. Evolution is either a genius or completely improvising. But here's where things get strange. Some researchers argue human intelligence advanced unusually quickly compared to evolutionary expectations. Almost like somebody hit fast forward. In evolutionary terms, humans went from primitive tools to landing on the moon incredibly fast. A cosmic speedrun. And our brains are expensive. Ridiculously expensive. The human brain uses huge amounts of energy compared to the rest of the body. From a survival perspective, that's risky. Nature usually favors efficiency. Yet somehow evolution looked at humans and said, you know what this ape needs? Anxiety and quantum physics. Now combine that with another mystery. Humans are uniquely capable of imagining things that don't physically exist. Money, nations, religion, corporations. None of these are tangible objects. They're collective hallucinations we all agreed to participate in. Which means civilization is basically a very organized improv performance. And somehow it works. Mostly. But some theorists take this further. They wonder if human consciousness itself is unusual enough to suggest something extraordinary happened in our past. Again, there's no scientific evidence aliens engineered humanity. Important disclaimer before somebody starts building a tinfoil bunker. But philosophically, it raises fascinating questions. Why are humans so aware of death? Why do we seek meaning? Why do we stare at the stars and feel emotional about giant burning gas balls millions of kilometers away? No other species writes poetry about the universe. Cats barely acknowledge taxes exist. Yet humans constantly search for origin stories. We need to know where we came from. And maybe that's because something feels incomplete, like we're missing a chapter. But then comes the creepiest possibility of all. What if humans aren't aliens, but descendants of aliens? Because suddenly, history starts looking less like a straight line, and more like amnesia. History is full of gaps. Massive ones. Entire civilizations vanished. Libraries burned. Languages disappeared. Knowledge evaporated. Human history is less like a clean timeline, and more like somebody spilled coffee on the file. Take Göbekli Tepe, a massive ancient site in modern-day Turkey, believed to be over 11,000 years old. That's older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids, and it completely disrupted old assumptions about early humans. Because apparently ancient people were capable of large-scale organization much earlier than expected, which raises an uncomfortable possibility. How much human history have we lost? Civilizations collapse all the time. One asteroid, one supervolcano, one catastrophic climate event. Done. Reset. Imagine if modern civilization disappeared tomorrow. Thousands of years later, future archaeologists might discover fragments of our world. A microwave, a rubber duck, a YouTube comment section, and they'd probably conclude we worshipped chaos. Not entirely wrong. Now imagine this has already happened before. What if advanced civilizations existed long before recorded history and vanished? Not alien civilizations. Human uns. Maybe humanity rises, falls, rises again, over and over. And each time, fragments survive as myths. Gods descending from the sky, fire from heaven, lost golden ages. Stories passed down through terrified survivors who didn't fully understand what came before. That would explain something strange about humanity. Why we seem simultaneously advanced and primitive. We can edit genes, but still forget passwords instantly. We invented artificial intelligence, but also reality television. Humanity feels like a species carrying remnants of forgotten knowledge while emotionally operating like exhausted raccoons. And maybe that's why the alien question fascinates us so deeply, because it's secretly a question about ourselves. We don't just want to know if aliens exist. We want to know whether we belong. Because deep down, humans have always felt slightly displaced, like travelers who arrived somewhere long ago and forgot the journey. But there's one final twist, and it changes everything. Now let's flip the entire theory upside down. What if humans are not aliens from another planet, but Earth itself becoming conscious? Stay with me. Every atom in your body came from exploded stars. Literally. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen you breathe, all forged inside ancient stars billions of years ago. You are cosmic debris with opinions, which is honestly incredible branding for the universe. And maybe humans feel alien not because we came from elsewhere, but because consciousness itself is bizarre. Think about it. The universe spent billions of years as silent rocks, gas, gravity, and fire. Then suddenly, it became aware. Through us, humans are the universe looking back at itself. Which sounds beautiful until you realize the universe also invented internet arguments and unskippable ads. A tragic side effect of intelligence. But maybe that explains our loneliness, our existential dread, our obsession with the stars. The universe is enormous, cold, ancient, and somehow, on one tiny rock floating through infinite darkness, matter learned to ask questions. Questions like, who are we? Why are we here? Why does the printer stop working exactly when I'm in a hurry? Maybe humans feel alien because consciousness itself is rare, because we're caught between two worlds, animal and God, primitive and advanced, dust and dream. And maybe that tension is what makes humanity beautiful, or dangerous, or both. So, what if we are aliens? Not little green creatures hiding in flying saucers, but beings born from stardust, carrying ancient atoms across time, searching endlessly for meaning in a universe that refuses to explain itself. Maybe the real mystery was never whether aliens are out there. Maybe the mystery is why the universe produced us at all. And if someday humanity finally reaches another planet and looks up at an unfamiliar sky, maybe we won't feel like explorers. Maybe we'll feel like we've finally come home. Fade to black.